Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com, here to do a video blog. I'm just using my camcorder this time. Sort of a half successful screen capture video. But please subscribe. You have to subscribe. Just want to let you know about that. Anyway, because if you're watching these videos, why would you not subscribe unless you don't have an account? It's kind of silly, but there's a bunch of stuff that just came up. Just this another news item, Okay, so going down the list. What was it? For one thing, the Lickerish Quartet have finished. They've kind of decided to call it a day and end. The Lickerish Quartet being the jellyfish-related project with Roger Manning. It's a reunion of three-quarters of the, sorry about this, three-quarters of the Spilt Milk era with Tim Smith, Roger Manning, Tim Smith, and is it Jason Faulkner? No, it's not Jason Faulkner. Roger Manning, Tim Smith, and Eric Dover, who I believe, looking at the history of Jellyfish, Eric Dover actually didn't play. He was a live member. I don't think he ever played on any albums. But as much as I love Jellyfish, my knowledge of the membership is not 100%. And that book with the box set probably talks about it, and I haven't read that yet. Maybe I need to spend some time just doing that. But yeah, the Lickerish Quartet put out 3 EPs, Threesome Volume 1, Threesome Volume 2, Threesome Volume 3 of the past year. The third EP came out this past year, but there was some on vinyl and CD. I got the CDs. The truth is, while I did like them, I never got blown away by them like Jellyfish. I really struggled. It's sad to say. It's sad to admit that I've struggled to love the post-Jellyfish, even Roger's Soul, Land of Pure Imagination. That album, I can revisit that, but I think that is maybe the best thing I've enjoyed the most from him outside of Jellyfish. But anyway, it's sad to see. Anyway, I would have loved to have seen them play live. Jellyfish to me, obviously, Andy Sturm was a big part of that, but still, they have the 3 EPs. They put out basically a full album worth of music, and Roger and the other guys will still do music, I'm sure. So that's the first piece of news. The second piece, well, kind of 2 or 3 small items. One being Hotel the Laughing Tree, a band I was really obsessed with for a few years back in the early 2010s. Put out just an unbelievably great debut album called Tearing Everything After in 2011. Huge, like the Deer Hunter moments at points. The songwriting was really good. They put out a second album called New World Sundown. They put out some EPs besides that. New World Sundown came out in 2015. They remixed it because they were talking about how they didn't really feel like they mixed it that well when they originally made it. So they've just remixed it. It's on their Bandcamp page. And I had a pretty good personal relationship with them. They were really nice guys. Brandon Peterson specifically is the one. I probably talked to the most, but all the members. AJ Estrada, the singer. But I believe he played guitar too. But they not only did that remix of New World Sundown, which I haven't listened to yet. I downloaded it. You can download it for free or give them money or whatever on their Bandcamp page. Hotel of the Laughing Tree. Band from upstate New York, I think it was, or New York. I can't remember what. They were from New York, but I know members like Brandon ended up moving, I think. But anyway, they, over the last couple of years, have gotten back together or done some music together, and they're probably going to be putting out a record pretty soon. So I don't want to make any statements that say the album's called this, it's coming out this date, and you book it, for all the people that know them, or the people that should check them out if you're a fan of the Deer Hunter. But it's pretty exciting for myself because I absolutely really like them. I really love them, that first album especially, and I actually turned a bunch of people onto them too, which I'm really happy that I did that. And it made sense. The album was that good, especially the first album. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. The last album was good. And some of the EPs were maybe even a little better in some ways. So you're gonna hear that the remix version of their last record also. So not related, but almost feels like it's sort of related. The band House of Fools. There's not a lot of news per se publicly, but a gentleman got in touch with me on Rate Your Music, and House of Fools, the band I did a video on last year, they put out two albums in 2007 and 2000, was it 11 or early 2012. They put out a thing called Fresh Hot Shit. It was I don't think put it out, just gave it to people as burned CDs and stuff like that. Anyway, a guy got in touch with me and they'd like misplaced it and I still had it. I found it in an old hard drive but that was really cool. And that's fine. A fellow, someone who knows them pretty well. But I guess they had also gotten together. They were planning on putting out a new record. Like that would have been the first album in how many years? 7, 8, 9 years. But COVID kind of ended that. But maybe the things open up a little bit. I don't know. I just was thinking about House of Fools the last few days, listening to some of the music and stuff like that. That song "Need to Be Free," that demo off that thing that they gave people, they circulated, is so good. I still can't contend that might be my favorite song. The song called "Need to Be Free" on their last album, Versus the Beast, but this version's kind of different in some ways. It uses more synthesizers but that song itself is just, I get goosebumps listening to it. Very relatable to me in a lot of ways, the lyrics. So let's see here. That item, let's see. Winery Dogs just released a statement saying their album 3, the third Winery Dog albums, comes out in the 3rd of February next year, and they're doing a tour, and they're going to be here the day before Riverside's going to be here, and they're going to be playing the Fine Line Minneapolis. They're doing a tour of, I don't know if it's just America, but just the U.S. and North America or Europe. I didn't look at all the different dates, but I've never seen the Winery Dogs. I'm kind of lukewarm on the Winery Dogs, although at this point I probably would be more apt to listen to Winery Dogs than some of the other stuff Mike Portnoy's done recently. But I don't know. The thing is, between them and Riverside, I've never seen also. It's like I gotta figure out my priorities and stuff like that. So, the band Dredg, of course, I talked about on Friday. The Vault is gonna go on sale on it's Thursday, December 2nd. It's a week from Thursday. They're showing different screen caps of stuff that's going to include with it. One of them is the long wanted, desired by the real fanatics, including myself and people that are more into Dredg than me, EP Orf, which is like pre-leitmotif. It's a little more raw, but it became a highly sought out collectible. It probably sells on eBay and Discogs for a few $100. People have sold it at least. It's going to be included with this vault. That's one of the great exciting pieces of news with this thing. The not so exciting piece of news with this thing, and it is a quote unquote vault, is probably the price tag. So we don't know what it is exactly yet, I don't think. But could be a couple $100. So, I'm gonna have to figure out the budget and work some overtime, or maybe, I can't not see I can't see not getting it, just because I love Dredg so much, and but it's almost like going to see like a concert. It's like if I don't go to Peter Gabriel, this would at least be understandable. I got this, but I want to do both, of course. So, because Peter Gabriel's probably going to tour. That's about it. I thought there was. It seemed like a bunch of other stuff has popped up. Well, I did hear listen to a podcast with Matt Mahaffey, from sElf, and on this podcast called Abandoned Albums, and it sounds like he's really been consumed by his career making music for Hollywood, including Shrek but recently, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the series, the animated series, something, he did the theme song for that. But he has been writing and recording some sElf music, but he's talking about he wants a band too. But like 2 songs have been finished, I guess, but we might or might not get a sElf album in 2023. Maybe. I don't know. The guy was so prolific for so long, it's weird. But I understand it if he has more priorities. So, but the podcast is worth checking out if you are a sElf fan. He talks about a lot of his story of his career, although he doesn't talk that much about. He was mentioned at all Gizmodgery, which is weird, which is some people's mind the most well-known thing he did. So, looking on Twitter right now and seeing something about Willie Mays. Oh, just a fact about him, I think. Willie Mays, the ballot and stuff like that. There was, there was one or two other items. I mean, stuff just I'm doing with the blog with the singles of the year, the songs of the year. That may actually usurp my plans. There's a website that I want to try out. I could mention to people called LAL.ai. It extracts stems from any song apparently. So if you wanted to take out the drums or you wanted to, I guess you have to pay for it at some point or something like that. But you want to do karaoke or you want to sing along without the vocal track really to any song. It does a pretty good job, I guess, which that to me is kind of tempting to some songs, but I have to, you upload the file, I guess, and then it does its job. I don't know. But that was kind of a minor thing. I thought there was something else. Oh, I remember now. There's some albums that, because we're doing the albums of the year stuff, and after doing that experience with the screen capture, I might be doing my albums of the year that way too. I mean, I'll have physical copies, like this Typhoon EP that I love so much, Underground Complex #1, but Humphreys McGee, an album I mentioned back on talking about the calendar earlier this year, came out July 1st, the same day as the Deer Hunter. Their album, it's called Asking for a Friend, is really good. I'm really surprised I slept on it. Well, not really surprised because they've had a history, Humphreys McGee, of liking the album, not the next album doesn't even compare. They've been very hit and miss. They're the Brett Saberhagen at one point, but yeah, the last album I really could say that I liked. I mean, the Zonky album was interesting because it was like a live hybrid of a bunch of covers together, which was interesting. But it comes down to it, I'm not going to listen to that as much, even though they're known as a live band, of course, and I have my reservations about that. But they have some good studio albums I like, and this album they came out with 1st of July is really quite good. I'm glad I heard it before the end of the year. Asking for a Friend. It's like similar skin from 2014's the last album from Humphreys McGee I actually really liked a decent amount. But Mantis and Anchor Drops are sort of my go-to classics from them. But yeah, if you like Humphreys McGee and you haven't heard the new record, Asking for a Friend, go check it out. It's on Spotify, anywhere. Just check it out. It definitely. I mean, most people that probably like them have heard it. If you're a Fringe fan, I guess you could consider myself slightly a Fringe fan because again, they've got like 12 albums, and I can just say that, I probably only enjoy about half of them. I mean, some of the lesser albums have maybe one or two tracks that are okay, but I remember being kind of disappointed the last few albums. I'm really kind of frustrated with this band because it's like they have some great music that I know they can write great music, but this new album of theirs, I think being home during COVID probably really helped. They probably spent more time on the actual songwriting. They used to write their songs live sometimes, go through the ideas, but that album, and there was one other album that I revisited the Takis album. So I'm just doing all the albums of the year review, which allow my sort of, contemporary, whatever they call the YouTubers and all the music heads and music musos like myself try to do at the end of the year. Cram. It feels like cramming for a test, but I'm getting there, and based on the experience on doing the songs of the year list and stuff like that, just doing the screen capture, it could be relatively soon. I mean, I don't know about this week because I'm gonna be spending a lot of time at home with my wife and mother-in-law and stuff like that, depending on schedule, and she may be getting her COVID booster. So, but I would say if all goes well, by the end of November or the first week in December, I'll probably get the albums of the year up, and then maybe I'll do a songs of the year too in the similar fashion, and then get going. Oh, Dead to Me. That's right. I've been watching Dead to Me. I only have 2 episodes left. I'll have to do a review of that. Probably won't finish it up tonight, so maybe tomorrow. But anyway, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Again, thank you for watching. What are you doing at this time of year? Are you doing your albums of the year prep and stuff like that? Be curious. I'd love to see people's what their contenders, and when we see the list, like people post their albums of the year. So, but thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.